Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I hope you guys are having a magnificent Monday. You know the sun is shining. You know we're sprinkling some goodness on you. And today, we're actually going to be talking about a viewer recommendation, and that is perception. How can you change your perception in order to create a different type of reality? So let's go ahead and talk about it. So I want to preface this video by talking a little bit about perception, because there are people out there that go, well, you know, there's bad people out there and the world is falling apart right now, and this person said this, and oh my God, all my friends are terrible, and I don't know why you're excited. And you know, you have those negative people, and then you have those people that I'm not going to say are completely on the aspect of optimism, but they try to see the good in things. So they're like, you know, people in their nature, they ultimately want to help people, and there still are good people. Maybe not everybody is a good person, but there are still good people out there and people willing to work together. And so that's the two different distinctions when it comes to perception. So let's talk about how we can use perception in order to create a happier and more positive environment right now. And we'll talk about this using what is happening with our country right now. Our country is in a very delicate type time. There's looting going on, there's rioting going on, there's stealing going on, there's murders going on. There are people that are attacking each other, and it's ultimately creating a divide in our society. And that's the reality of the situation. Now, how could you perceive this in a way that will steer it in a direction of ultimately helping you feel a little bit better in creating a positive environment? Because if you are focused on the problem and you're not solution oriented, then you'll only see a problem. But if you start to shift it and go, okay, this is happening, but how can we fix it? Now you can be part of the solution rather than part of the problem. And how do you do that exactly? So using what we know right now with the looting, rioting, stealing, violence, all of this stuff going on, it seems to be pretty bad right now. The worst it's ever been. And I would say that it's the worst it's ever been, at least from what I see in my life. I've never seen anything like this happen before. But also, I look at it as something as a necessary evil. And here's the reason why I say that. A lot of things are being brought to light right now that ultimately need to be addressed. So you have the Black Lives Matter movement, and obviously there's systematic racism and social injustice with the police force and the education system and the jobs and all of this stuff. There's definitely a divide there, and there's definitely inequality when it comes to that. And so I'm actually happy to see this start to come up a little bit, because this gives us an opportunity to look at the problem at face value and go, okay, how can we work together to solve this, right? And so yes, I see this evil happening right now, but this is a necessary evil, and my perception of it is this needs to happen in order for us to reach the next evolution of our society in creating systems where there is no divide, there is no social injustice. It's something that we have to have a sit-down conversation about and bring awareness to in order to come up with that even keel, come together type solution. And then of course we look at the looting, the rioting, the stealing, all of this stuff, and you start to realize that people that are doing that behavior have been oppressed for a long time. It doesn't matter what skin color they are. People have felt like they are being victimized for a very, very, very long time. And they're only doing what they know how to do based on how they were conditioned. Now, when you are conditioned in a society of lack, in a society where maybe your parents are having a hard time making ends meet, and you're brought up in a society where stealing or violence is a norm type thing, of course you're going to go and loot and riot and be violent. That's just the way it goes. And when you start to look at that, yes, that also looks bad. And do I think it should be happening? No. But am I thankful that it is happening too? Of course I am, because it gives us an opportunity to address the situation, figure out why people are upset, and how we can potentially correct it, again, so that we don't run into this problem in the future. future. So again, this is just something that's bringing more awareness. So although the reality of the situation may appear negative, in all actuality, it's really not that negative, because it's bringing to light issues that have been swept under the rug for a long period of time. And you can use this idea of perception in any topic or subject that you want, whether it be relationships or loved ones or your work life or the relationship that you have with your kids or whatever it is. Your perception of that thing that's happening will ultimately help you to decide and see what the problem is, therefore be able to draw a solution to it. So you become more solution oriented rather than somebody who just looks at the problem and never corrects the problem. So once you start to look at things in a different light, that's when you can go, okay, here's how I fix this problem moving forward. So try to use this idea of perception in maybe some challenges that you're having in your life right now. Really dig to the root of the issue that you're having, figure out what's causing it, what your thought process is about it, and then start to look at it from a different angle and start to look at it like, well, okay, if this is happening, how can I correct this? Because when you do that, you start to take the power back in your life and you start to take yourself out of that victim mentality and you start to be more powerful in changing things in your life to ultimately create that life that you want, and things start to become really easy for you because you look at every single problem with the idea of, okay, how can I correct this to ultimately get more of what I want? So I want to thank you guys for tuning into this week's video, and of course to the viewer who recommended this topic. If there's a certain topic you guys want to hear about, drop it in the comment section below. I love, building this YouTube channel around things that are happening on this planet, but also how we can work together to ultimately create a more positive environment and ultimately live that life that we always wanted to live, and do it with a sense of togetherness, unity, and just creating more and more of the society that we ultimately deserve. So, of course, if you did like this video, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button as well. It's right there. It's beautiful. You already know that we're doing videos like this all the time, creating quality content and ultimately helping you to just level up a little bit. So I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. Peace.